It was over 2 years ago that World of Warcraft raised the bar for the massively multiplayer genre, and none of its would-be competitors has even come close to matching it. Even at launch, there was very little to find fault with in Blizzard's first MMO, and thanks to regular free updates, it has continued to grow and evolve into an even bigger and better game over time. With the recent release of the Burning Crusade, World of Warcraft has never been better, and while you don't need the expansion to continue playing, it's hard not to feel like you're missing out in Azeroth without it. Like all great expansion packs, the Burning Crusade doesn't just offer more of the same, and it doesn't cater exclusively to experienced players. It offers a lot more of the same, and it also adds a number of new features that can be enjoyed by newcomers and level 60 veterans alike.
As one of the few surviving Blood Elves, you must master your thirst for magic and help shape the destiny of your people.
There are 2 new playable races, each with their own starting areas and backstories. There's a new jewel crafting profession that lets you make rings and necklaces, trinkets, weapons and gemstones. There's a new Outland continent where level 60 players can explore and quest in a handful of new zones en route to the new level 70 cap. And there are more than 20 new dungeons where groups of between 5 and 25 players can test their skills against challenging bosses in the hope of earning powerful new items. Item bonuses to basic attributes such as strength, stamina, agility and intellect are now augmented by bonuses to far more specific skills such as attack power, dodge rating and hit rating. Before the Burning Crusade, it was generally quite obvious whether or not one item was better than another, but there are so many different factors to consider now that choosing which equipment to use often has as much to do with personal taste as anything. Even the relatively common gear that's available in Outland is better than much of the rare and epic equipment that has been dropping in Azeroth for the past 2 years. Those of you with complete sets of epic armor will find that it's good enough to get you through most of the new continent's quests and dungeons, but everyone else's stuff becomes obsolete within hours of them stepping through the Dark Portal. The new gear serves to lessen the gap between hardcore dungeon raiders and more casual players, and as a result, the Outland's quests are neither too challenging for relatively experienced players, nor far too easy for those in the minority who can truly claim to have beaten the original game. The fact that the playing field has been leveled somewhat also makes player versus player encounters more enjoyable now than they've been for some time, which is just as well given that almost all of the new Outland environments have PvP objectives and rewards. You're free to ignore these world PvP objectives if you wish, but they offer a welcome distraction from the occasionally repetitive nature of questing, and you don't need to devote an awful lot of time to them to enjoy the benefits. Since the quests in Outland pay a lot better than those in Azeroth, you also won't need to invest as much time as you might think in order to buy a flying mount once you hit level 70. Like regular mounts, you're not able to attack other players or enemies while flying, but they still have a significant impact on PvP because you're able to move between objectives much more quickly. There's also no better way to take in Outland's breathtaking scenery than from the saddle of your own griffin or wyvern. Although still quite beautiful, the original World of Warcraft's visuals are certainly starting to show their age after 2 years. Excellent texture work and lighting belies some quite rudimentary geometry in places, and the Burning Crusade is no different. With that said, the expansion pack's environments are undoubtedly among the most impressive that the game has to offer, and when you're not busy trying to complete a quest or doing battle with rival players, there's plenty of fun to be had just exploring them and keeping an eye out for previously unseen creatures, rare enemies and such. If you've already spent any serious amount of time with World of Warcraft, then you have a pretty good idea of what to expect from its first expansion pack. It's true that some of the new quests can feel like a grind, and it's also true that the Burning Crusade's arrival has rendered much of the old endgame content all but obsolete. This is a superb example of exactly what an expansion pack for any game should be though, and the gulf between World of Warcraft and the pretenders to its throne is now wider than ever.